Is an active volcano on the island of Hawaii and the Hawaii Islands. And says no area. This is huge. This is the volcano that is currently erupting. It is a currently active shield volcano in the Hawaiian Islands and the most active of the 5 volcanoes that together form the island of Hawaii. Located along the southern shore of the island, the volcano is between 300,000 and 600,000 years old and emerged above sea level about 100,000 years ago. See if we can find a landing place here. And this gives you a good view of the crater from here. And that's the parking lot over here. Is an active submarine volcano. This thing is huge. Is one of the 5 volcanoes that form the island of Hawaii in the U.S. state of Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean. The largest subaerial volcano in both mass and volume, Mauna Loa has historically been considered the largest volcano on Earth. dwarfed only by Tamu Massif. It is an active shield volcano with relatively gentle slopes with a volume estimated at approximately 18,000 cubic miles. Although its peak is about 120 feet lower than that of its neighbor Mauna Kea, lava eruptions from Mauna Loa are silica poor and very fluid, and they tend to be non-explosive. And this is the inside of the crater here. Rocks. Mauna Kea is a dormant volcano on the island of Hawaii, standing 4,207 meters above the sea. Its peak is the highest point in the state of Hawaii, making the island of Hawaii the second largest island in the world. Most of the mountain is underwater. When measured from its oceanic base, Mauna Kea is over 10,000 meters or 33,000 feet tall and is the tallest mountain on Earth. Mauna Kea is about 1 million years old and has thus passed the most active shield stage of life hundreds of thousands of years ago. In its current post-shield state, its lava is more viscous, resulting in a steeper profile. Late volcanism has also given it a much rougher appearance than its neighboring volcanoes. Contributing factors include the construction of cinder cones, the decentralization of its rift zones, the glaciation of its peak, and the weathering effects of the prevailing trade winds. Mauna Kea last erupted 4,000, 6,000 years ago and is now considered dormant. And we'll see if we can find a area that we can look at it better. Now there's one right down in here, so we'll see if we can go right down in. Wow. Guess that's inside. Okay, let's go back out. Okay, so I'm not getting it. Well, there we go. Isn't that beautiful? So it would be over this way. I'll try this one here. We'll go there. Trying to give y'all a view of the crater. Rocks. Okay, and we're moving on to the next one. Is the oldest of 5 volcanoes that make up the island of Hawaii, and is an estimated 1 million years old, so old that it experienced and recorded the reversal of the Earth's magnetic field 780,000 years ago. It is believed to have breached sea level more than 500,000 years ago, and to have last erupted 120,000 years ago. It is 606 kilometers or 234 square miles in area and 3,400 cubic miles in volume, and thus constitutes just under 6% of the island of Hawaii. And we're moving on to the next one. Is a submerged shield volcano in the northwestern flank of the island of Hawaii. A drowned coral reef at about 3,770 feet below sea level, and a major break in slope at about 4,400 feet below sea level represent old shorelines. The summit of the shield volcano was once 800 feet above sea level. It has now subsided below sea level. A roughly circular caldera marks the summit of, and I can't pronounce the name, so we'll highlight it here. A prominent rift zone extends to the west. A second rift zone probably extended to the east, but has been buried by younger volcanoes. The main shield building stage of volcanism ended about 470,000 years ago. The summit of the shield volcano subsided below sea level between 435,000 years ago and 365,000 years ago. This makes this volcano the oldest volcano to build Hawaii Island, compared to Kohala to the east and this one to the southeast. The Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute investigated the area with a remotely controlled submarine in 2001. And moving on to the next one. is a massive shield volcano that formed more than 75% of the Hawaiian island of Maui. The western 25% of the island is formed by another volcano, Mauna Kahalawi, also referred to as West Maui Mountains. This land right at the top. And this is Red Hill. Let's see if we can get another better look. We'll go here. Steep drive up. What do we got here? Nope. Okay, we're moving on to the next one. The name is at the top. I'm going to pull out just a little bit. The name of this mountain means holding house of water. It is approximately 1.7 million years old and forms much of the eroded shield volcano that constitutes the western 1/4 of the Hawaii island of Maui. Since its last eruption approximately 320,000 years ago, the West Maui Mountains have undergone substantial stream erosion. It's a beautiful view. And moving on to the next one. The name is at the top. Is the smallest of 8 main volcanic islands in the Hawaii Islands. And again, there's a name here. Kahu'alawi is located about 7 miles southwest of Maui and also southeast of Lanai. It is 11 miles long by 6 miles wide, with a total land area of 44.97 square miles. Kahu'alawi has no permanent residents. And we're moving on to the next one. The name is at the top. is an extinct shield volcano comprising the eastern 2/3 of the island of Molokai. It is overlapped by the West Molokai, Lanai, and Halakala shield volcanoes. And we're moving on to the next one. West Molokai volcano. Is an extinct shield volcano comprising the west half of Molokai Island. West Molokai overlaps the western flank of East Molokai volcano, a much larger shield volcano comprising 2/3 of Molokai. I think we're here. And we're moving on to the next one. Kaina Ridge. Is a submerged remnant of an ancient shield volcano that is in the north of and once comprised the northern section of the Hawaiian island of Oahu. Kaina Ridge was the oldest of the 3 volcanoes to form Oahu, and it was also the shortest when it grew out of the sea level. It was 3,000 feet. And we're moving on to the next one. Kaula. The island is actually the very top of a volcanic tuff cone that rests on top of a larger submerged shield volcano. At its highest point, the island reaches a height of 548 feet. You can tell this island isn't that big. It's very small. And we're moving on to the next one. Is a dormant fragment remnant of the eastern or windward shield volcano of the Hawaiian island or Oahu. The volcano is thought to have first erupted on the ocean floor more than 2.5 million years ago. It eventually reached sea level and continued to grow in elevation until about 1.7 million years ago, when the volcano became dormant. The volcano remained dormant for hundreds of thousands of years, during which time erosion ate away at the initially smooth slopes of the shield-shaped mountain, and the entire mass subsided considerably. Naiahoa. Naiahoa is part of the Hawaiian Emperor Seamount chain of volcanic islands, atolls, and seamounts starting from the island of Hawaii in the southeast to the Aleutian Islands in the northwest. And moving on to the next one. Name is at the top. Consists of one extinct volcano that had a large landslide to the east. And moving on to the next one. Penguin Bank. Is a now submerged shield volcano in the Hawaiian Islands. And we're moving on to the next one. Kauai. Kauai's origins are volcanic, the island having been formed by the passage of the Pacific Plate over the Hawaii hotspot. At approximately 5 million years old, it is the oldest of the main islands. Kauai Island is composed of a single large eroded shield volcano with a summit caldera 15 to 20 kilometers in diameter and two flank calderas. Large Pliocene debris avalanches extend to the north and south. The spectacular Waimea Canyon and Napalm Cliffs on the northwest coast are products of extensive erosion. Most of the volcano is of Pliocene age. However, rejuvenation of activity during the Pliocene produced lavas and cones over the eastern two-thirds of the island potassium argon, dated 1.40 to 0.6 million years ago. Let me get a better look. And we're moving on to the next one. Unnamed seamount. It's at a depth of 40 meters or 130 feet below sea level. Is the eroded remains of an ancient shield volcano that comprises the western half of the Hawaiian island of Oahu. And there's a spot up here. We can see a gorgeous, gorgeous view. I think radio station. And moving on to the next one. Diamond Head. Is a volcanic tuff cone on the Hawaiian island of Oahu and known to Hawaiians as Leia, most likely from Lei, Brown Ridge, Promontory plus Ahai, tuna, because the shape of the ridgeline resembles the shape of a tuna's dorsal fin. Its English name was given by British sailors in the 19th century who mistook calcite crystals on the adjacent beach for diamonds. And we can go up here, we'll take a look. Wow. Oh, hello. We're in a tunnel here. Isn't that cool? Okay, back out. Let's see, we'll go over here. We're still in the tunnel. There's more of the tunnel. It goes from one side to the other side. So now we're inside Diamond Head. And there's the tunnel we were in. And we're exiting. And moving on to the next one. Hanama Bay. The Hanama crater was created about 32,000 years ago during the Honolulu volcanic series. And let's see if we can get a view here on the beach. Picture's a little off over there. And there's also a Hanama Bay nature reserve over here. And moving on to the next one. Kiana Point. Used to be an active shield volcano that formed about 15% of the island. It is also 5 million years old, making it the oldest volcano on Oahu. Kiana must have suffered a large collapse because of its large crater. When it became extinct, which was about 4.2 million years ago, it stood 3,000 feet tall. And this is the Kiana Point State Park here. And we're moving on to the next one. Kahualawe. Kahualawe is an extinct shield volcano which formed during the Pleistocene epoch. Most of the island is covered by basalt lava flows. A caldera is located to the eastern part of the island. The last volcanic activity on the island occurred about 1 million years ago. And this is the island here. And moving on to the next one. Kawayakini. Is the summit of the island's inactive central shield volcano, Mount Wailali. And we'll get a good look around. And moving on to the next one. Coco Guyot is a 48.1 million year old Guyots, a type of underwater volcano with a flat top, which lies near the southeastern end of the Emperor Sea Mountains. Coco Head is an extinct tuft cone that is somewhat dwarfed by its neighboring tuft cone, Coco Crater, with its peak. Coco Crater is a large tuft cone that visually dominates the area. So you can see how big it is. And moving on to the next one. Halona Blowhole is a rock formation and blowhole on the island of Oahu, Hawaii, off the Hanauma Bay and Halona Point. Coco Crater lava flows into the ocean there at Halona Point. The lava tubes extend into the ocean, which are very narrow at the top. And you can see the blowhole is here. Let's see if get a view over here. Really beautiful. And moving on to the next one. Mahukona is a submerged shield volcano on the northwestern flank of Hawaii, of the island of Hawaii. And moving on to the next one. Punch Bowl Crater. Is an extinct volcanic tuff cone located in Honolulu, Hawaii. The volcano is most likely a monogenic volcano, meaning that it only erupted once. And we'll find somewhere to land over here so we can look around. Maybe here. It's a cemetery. And moving on to the next one. Mount Wa'alele. Is a shield volcano and the second highest point on the island of Kauai in the Hawaiian Islands. And moving on to the next one. Now we're going to look at some unnamed seamounts, some Guyots, and should be interesting. This seamount, which is a Guyot, is at the depth of 10 meters or 33 feet below sea level, is 7.2 to 10.3 million years old. Our next one is another unnamed seamount. And it's a Guyot, 7.2 to 10.3 million years old at a depth of 229 meters or 751 feet below sea level. Our next one is also an unnamed seamount. This one is 7.2 to 10.3 million years old at a depth of 5 meters or 16 feet below sea level. Our next one is also an unnamed seamount. And it's a Guyot, and it's 7.2 to 10.3 million years old at a depth of 44 meters or 144 feet below sea level. The next one is an unnamed seamount. And it is 7.2 to 10.3 million years old at a depth of 413 meters or 1,355 feet below sea level. So it's there. Our next one is French Frigate Shoals. It's an atoll. The coral of the atoll often sits atop the rim of an extinct seamount or volcano which has eroded or subsided partially beneath the water. The lagoon forms over the volcanic crater or caldera, while the lighter rim remains above water or at a shallow depth that permits the coral to grow and form the reefs. For the atoll to persist, continued erosion or subsidence must be at a rate slow enough to permit reef growth upwards and outwards to replace the lost height. It's 12 million years old and the largest atoll in the northwestern Hawaiian Islands. And apparently also there's a airport over here too. It's here. The next one is East Brooks Bank. And it's a Guyots, is 12 to 12.3 million years old at a depth of 51 meters or 167 feet below sea level. Our next one is Central Brooks Bank. My 2D doesn't always work good. It's a Guyots, is 12 to 12.3 million years old and at a depth of 29 meters or 95 feet below sea level. Our next one is West Brooks Bank. And it's 12 to 12.3 million years old at a depth of 24 meters or 79 feet below sea level. The next one is St. Rogation Bank. It's a Guyots, 12 to 12.3 million years old at a depth of 20 meters or 66 feet below sea level. Gardner Pinnacles. It's an atoll island, 2 barren rock outcrops surrounded by a reef 12.3 to 1.0 million years old. Eventually, erosion and subsidence break the volcano down to sea level. At this point, the volcano becomes an atoll, with a ring of coral and sand islands surrounding a lagoon. All the Hawaiian Islands west of the Gardner Pinnacles and the northwestern Hawaiian Islands are in this stage. So let's get a good look down here. And moving on to the next one, it's an unnamed seamount. This one is 12.3 to 19.9 million years old at a depth of 13 meters or 43 feet below sea level. It's also a Guyots. Next one is Morrow Reef. This is a Guyots. It's 12.3 to 19.9 million years old at a depth of 13 meters or 43 feet below sea level. Next one is Laysan. It's an atoll island, 19.9 plus or minus 0.3 million years old, meaning kau, meaning egg, referring to its shape, and home of one of the only 5 natural lakes in all of Hawaii. I'm guessing this must be the lake here. And moving on to the next one, which is also an unnamed seamount. It's a Guyot. It's 19.9 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 1 meter or 3.3 feet below sea level. Next one is Northampton Seamount. It's a Guyot. It's 19.9 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 6 meters or 20 feet below sea level. Our next one is an unnamed seamount. This one is a Guyot, is 19.9 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 872 meters or 2,861 feet below sea level. Our next one is Pioneer Table Mount. This one is 19.6 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 5 meters or 16 feet below sea level. It's also a Guyot. The next one is Lesnaski Island. The island is made of limestone that caps the submerged summit of an extinct shield volcano that was active about 20 million years ago, 19.9 to 20.6 million years ago, also named after a captain in the Russian Navy whose ship ran aground there in 1805. Next one is also an unnamed seamount. This one's a Guyot, is 19.9 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 67 meters or 220 feet below sea level. Our next one is also an unnamed seamount. This one's a Guyot. It's 19.9 to 20.6 million years old. It's a Paraguyot at a depth of 115 meters or 377 feet and 1,277 meters or 3,960 feet below sea level. There's a smaller one here. Our next one is also an unnamed seamount. And this one is a Guyots. It's 19.9 to 20.6 million years old at a depth of 1,233 meters or 4,045 feet below sea level. Our next one is Pearl and Herms Atoll. You can see the land over here. It's 20.6 plus or minus 2.7 million years old. A collection of small sandy islands with a lagoon and coral reef named after two whaling ships which were wrecked on the reef in 1822. So here's one of the little islands over here. This is Southeast Island. It's another one. Without the greatest of view. Somewhere over here. And moving on to the next one, which is an unnamed seamount. This one is 20.6 to 27 million at a depth of 1,640 meters or 5,380 feet below sea level. Our next one is Lad Seamount, which is right next to it. It's 20.6 to 27.7 million years old at a depth of 64 meters or 210 feet below sea level. A Guyots is a volcanic island located beyond the warm waters, temperatures, requirements of reef building. Organisms become seamounts as they subside and are eroded away from the surface. Reef building organisms, sorry. Our next one is Midway Atoll. And there's also the Hawaiian Islands National Wildlife Refuge over here. Atoll Island. Midway Atoll is part of a chain of volcanic islands, atolls, and seamounts extending from Hawaii up to the tip of the Aleutian Islands and known as the Hawaiian Emperor Seamount Chain. It consists of a ring-shaped barrier reef, nearly 5 miles in diameter, and several sand inlets. Midway was once a shield volcano, perhaps as large as the island of Lanai. As the volcano piled up lava flows building the island, its weight depressed the crust and the island slowly subsided over a period of millions of years, a process known as isostatic adjustment. The island is 27.7 plus or minus 0.6 million years old, consists of a ring-shaped barrier reef and 2 large inlets, named Midway because of its strategic location in the center of the Pacific Ocean and was the site of a key battle during World War II. And next one is Nero Seamount. It's a Guyots, is 27.7 to 38.7 million years old at a depth of 67 meters or 220 feet below sea level. Our next one is Cure Atoll. The geologic history of Cure is generally similar to Midway, but Cure lies close to what is called the Darwin Point, the latitude at which reef growth just equals reef destruction by various physical forces. As Cure continues to be slowly carried along to the northwest by the motion of the Pacific Plate, it will move into waters too cool for coral and coralline algae growth to keep up the isostatic subsidence of the mountain, so long as global warming does not interfere. Currently, the atoll is warmed by the pools of water at the end of the warm Kuroshio current, keeping it very comfortable range in winter. Barren unforeseen evolution, it will then begin to join the other volcanic and rooftop remnants of the Hawaiian Emperor Seamount chain to the northwest, all of which are now seamounts. It is 27.7 to 38.7 million years old, northernmost coral atolls in the world. You can see this island over here. Our next one is Pu'u'o. It's a cinder splatter cone and has been erupting continuously since January 3rd, 1983, making it the longest-lived rift zone eruption of the last 2 centuries. And our last one is Kaua Desert. Is made up mostly of dried lava remnants, volcanic ash, sand, and gravel. The desert covers an area of the Kilauea volcano. And you guys, if you liked my video, please check out my other videos. Please subscribe. Please give me a like. Check down below my video for links. I'm also posting a KML to the maps so that you can actually look at these on Google Earth and on maps if you would like to. Thank you and much love.